Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Let's start with chapter number 9, class 12th geography, planning and sustainable development in Indian context. The word planning is not new to you as it is part of everyday usage. You must have used it with reference to preparation for your examination or visit to a hill station. It involves the process of thinking, formulation of a scheme or program, and implementation of a set of actions to achieve some goal. Though it is very broad term, it is this chapter. In this chapter, it has been used with reference to the process of economic development. It is thus different from the traditional hit and miss methods by which reforms and reconstruction are often undertaken. Generally, there are two approaches to planning: sectoral planning and regional planning. Sectoral planning means formulation and implementation of the sets of schemes or programs aimed at development of various sectors of the economy such as agriculture, irrigation, manufacturing, power, construction, transport, communication, social infrastructure, services. There is no uniform economic development over space in any country. Some areas are more developed and some lag behind. This uneven pattern of development over space necessitates that the planners have a spatial perspective and draw the plans to reduce regional imbalance in development. This type of planning is termed as regional planning. Target area planning. The planning process has to take special care of those areas which have always remained economically backward. As you know, the economic development of a region depends upon its resource base, but sometimes resource rich region also remains backward. The planning process has to take special care of those areas which have remained economically backward. As you know, the economic development of a region depends upon its resource base. But sometimes resource rich regions also remain backward. Economic development requires technology as well as investment besides resources. With the planning experience of about 1.5 decades, it was realized that the regional imbalances in economic development were getting accentuated. In order to arrest the accentuation of the regional and social disparities, the Planning Commission introduced target area and target group approaches to planning. Some of the examples of programs directed towards the development of target areas are Command Area Development Program, Drought Area Development Program, Desert Development Program, Hill Area Development Program. That's it. The Small Farmers Development Agency (SFDA) and Marginal Farmers Development Agency (MFDA), which are examples of target group program. The 8th 5-year plan special area in the 8th 5-year plan, special area programs were designed to develop infrastructure in hill areas, northeastern states, tribal areas, and backward areas. Hill Area Development Program. Hill Area Development Program were initiated during the 5th 5-year plan, covering 15 districts comprising of all the hilly districts of Uttar Pradesh, present Uttarakhand, Mikir Hill and North Kachar Hills of Assam, Darjeeling, districts of West Bengal, and Nilgiri district of Tamil Nadu. The National Committee on the Development of Backward Area in 1981 recommended that all the hill areas in the country having height above 600 meters and not covered under tribal subplan be treated as backward hill areas. The detailed plans for the development of hill areas was drawn keeping in view their topographical, ecological, social and economic conditions. These programs aimed at harnessing the indigenous resources of the hill areas through development of horticulture, plantation, agriculture, animal husbandry, poultry, forestry, and small scale and village industry. Drought prone area program. This program was initiated during the 4th 5-year plan with the objectives of providing employment to the people in the drought prone areas and creating productive assets. Initially, this program laid emphasis on the construction of labor intensive civil works, but later on it emphasized on irrigation projects, land development programs, afforestation, grassland development, and creation of basic rural infrastructure, such as electricity, roads, market, credit, and services. The National Committee on Development of Backward Areas reviewed the performance of this program. It has been observed that the program is largely confined to the development of agriculture and allied sectors, with major focus on restoration of ecological balance. Since growing population pressure is forcing the society to utilize the marginal lands for agriculture and thereby causing ecological degradation, there is a need to create alternative employment opportunities in the drought prone areas. The other strategies of development of these areas include adoption of integrated watershed development approach at the micro level. The restoration of ecological balance between water, soil, plants, and human and animal population should be a basic consideration in the strategy of development of drought prone areas. The Planning Commission of India 1967 identified 67 districts, entire or partly, of the country prone to drought. The Irrigation Commission 1972 introduced the criteria of 30% irrigated area and demarcated the drought prone areas. Broadly, the drought prone area in India spread over semi arid and arid tract of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and western Madhya Pradesh, Marathwada region of Maharashtra, Rayalaseema and Telangana plateaus of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka plateau, and highlands of the interior parts of Tamil Nadu. The drought prone areas of Punjab, Haryana, and North Rajasthan are largely protected due to the spread of irrigation in these regions. Case study: Integrated Tribal Development Project in Bharmor region. Bharmor tribal area comprises of Bharmor and Holi tehsils of Chamba districts of Himachal Pradesh. It is notified tribal area since 21 November 1975. Bharmor is inhabited by Gaddi, a tribal community who have maintained a distinct identity in the Himalayan region as they practiced transhumance and conversed through the Gadiali dialect or Gadiali dialect. Bharmor tribal region has harsh climate conditions, low resource base, and fragile environment. These factors have influenced the society and economy of the region. According to 2011 census, the total population of the Bharmor subdivision was 39,1113, that is 21 persons per square kilometers. It is one of the most economically and socially backward areas of the Himachal Pradesh. Historically, Gadis the Gaddis have experienced geographical and political isolation and socio-economic deprivation. The economy is largely based on agriculture and allied activities such as sheep and goat rearing. The process of development of tribal area of Burma started in 1970s when the Gaddis were included among scheduled tribes. Under the fifth five-year plan, the tribal subplan was introduced in 1974 and Burma was designated as one of the five integrated tribal development projects ITDP in Himachal Pradesh. This area development plan aimed at improving the quality of life of the Gaddis and narrowing the gap in the level of development between Bharmor and the region areas of Himachal Pradesh. This plan laid the highest priority on the development of transport and communications, agriculture and allied activities, and social and community services. The most significant contribution of tribal subplan in Bharmor region is the development of infrastructure in terms of schools, healthcare facilities, potable water, roads, communications, and electricity. But the villages located along the river Ravi in Holi and Khani areas are the main beneficiaries of infrastructural development. The remote villages in Tunda and Kugti areas still do not have sufficient infrastructure. The social benefits derived from ITDP include tremendous increase in literacy rate, improvement in sex ratio, and decline in child marriage. The female literacy rate in the region increased from 1.88% in 1971 to 65% in 2011. The difference between males and females in literacy level, that is gender inequality, has also declined. Traditionally, the Gaddis had subsistence agriculture come pastoral economy, having emphasis on food grains and livestock production. But during the last 3 decades of 20th century, the cultivation of pulses and other cash crops have increased in Burma region. But the crop cultivation is still done with traditional technology. The declining importance of pastoralism in the economy of the region can be gauged from the fact that at present only about 1/10 of the total households practice transhumance. But the Gaddis are still very mobile as a sizable section of them migrate to Kangra and surrounding areas during winter to earn their livings from wage labor. Sustainable development. The term development is generally used to describe a state of particular societies and the process of changes experienced by them. During a fairly large period of human history, the state of the societies has largely been determined by the interaction process between human societies and their biophysical environment. The processes of human environment interaction depend upon the level of technology and institutions nurtured by a society. While the technology and institutions have helped in increasing the pace of human environment interaction, the momentum thus generated in return has accelerated technological progress and transformation and creation of institutions. Hence, development is a multidimensional concept and signifies the positive, irreversible transformation of economy, society, and environment. The concept of development is dynamic and has evolved during the second half of the 20th century. In the post World War II era, the concept of development was synonymous to economic growth, which was measured in terms of temporal increase in gross national product (GNP) and per capita income slash per capita consumption. But even in the countries having high economic growth, experience speedy rise in poverty because of its unequal distribution. So in 1970s, the phrases such as redistribution with growth and equity were incorporated in the definition of development. While dealing with the questions related to redistribution and equity, it was realized that the concept of development cannot be restricted to economic sphere alone. It also includes the issues such as improving well-being and living standard of people, availing the health, education and equality of opportunity, and ensuring political and civil rights. By the 1980s, development emerged as a concept encapsulating widespread improvement in social as well as material well-being of all in a society. The notion of sustainable development emerged in the wake of general rise of awareness of environmental issues in the late 1960s in the Western world. It reflected the concern of people about undesirable effects of industrial development on environment. The publication of Population Bomb by Elric in 1968 and Limits to the Growth by Meadows and others in 1972 further raised the level of fear among environmentalists in particular and people in general. This sets the scenario for emergence of new models of development under the broad phrase sustainable development. Concerned with growing opinion of world community on environmental issues, the United Nations established a World Commission on Environment and Development (WCED), headed by the Norwegian Prime Minister Gro Harlem Brundtland. The commission gave its report, also known as the Brundtland Report, entitled Our Common Future in 1987. The report defines sustainable development as a development that meets the needs of present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainable development takes care of ecological and social and economic aspects of development during the present times and pleads for conservation of resources to enable the future generations to use these resources. It takes into account the development of whole humankind which have common future. Case study: Indira Gandhi Canal Command Area. Indira Gandhi Canal, previously known as the Rajasthan Canal, is one of the largest canal systems in India. Conceived by Conver Sen in 1948, the canal project was launched on 31st March 1958. The canal originates at Harike Barrage in Punjab and runs parallel to Pakistan border at an average distance of 40 kilometers in Thar Desert, Marusthili of Rajasthan. Total planned length of the system is 9,060 kilometers, catering to the irrigation needs of total cultivable command area of 19.63 lakh hectares. Out of the total command area, about 70% was envisaged to be irrigated by flow system and the rest by lift system. The construction work of the canal system has been carried out through two stages. The command area of stage 1 lies in Ganganagar, Hanumangarh, and northern part of Bikaner districts. It has a gently undulating topography and its cultivable command area is 5.53 lakh hectares. The command area of stage 2 is spread over Bikaner, Jaisalmer, Barmer, Jodhpur, Nagpur, and Churu districts, covering cultivable command area of 14.10 lakh hectare. It comprises of desert land dotted with shifting sand dunes and temperatures soaring to 50 degrees in summers. In the lift canal, the water is lifted up to make it flow against the slope of the land. All the lift canals of Indira Gandhi Canal system originate at the left bank of main channel, while all the canals on the right bank of main channel are flow channels. Irrigation in stage 1 command area of the canal was introduced in early 1960s, whereas the command area of stage 2 began receiving irrigation in mid 1980s. The introduction of canal irrigation in the dry land has transformed its ecology, economy, and society. It has influenced the environmental conditions of the region both positively as well as negatively. The availability of soil moisture for a longer period of time and various afforestation and pasture development programs under CAD have resulted in greening the land. This has also helped in reducing wind erosion and siltation of canal systems. But the intensive irrigation and excessive use of water has led to the emergence of twin environmental problems of waterlogging and soil salinity. Introduction of canal irrigation has brought about a perceptible transformation in the agricultural economy of the region. Soil moisture has been a limiting factor in the successful growing of crops in this area. Spread of canal irrigation has led to increase in cultivated area and intensity of cropping. The traditional crops sown in the area, gram, bajra, jowar, have been replaced by wheat, coconut, groundnut, and rice. This is the result of intensive irrigation. This intensive irrigation, no doubt, initially has led to tremendous increase in agricultural and livestock productivity. This has also caused waterlogging and soil salinity, and thus the long run it hampers sustainability of agriculture. Measures for promotion of sustainable development. The ecological sustainability of Indira Gandhi Canal project has been questioned by various scholars. Their point of view has also largely been validated by course of development this region has taken during the last 4 decades, which has resulted in degradation of physical environment. This is a hard fact that attaining sustainable development in the command area requires major thrust upon the measures to achieve ecological sustainability. Hence, 5 of the 7 measures proposed to promote sustainable development in the command area are meant to restore ecological balance. 1. The first requirement is a strict implementation of water management policy. The canal project envisages protective irrigation in stage 1 and extensive irrigation of crops and pasture development in stage 2. In general, the cropping pattern shall not include water intensive crops. It shall be adhered to, and people shall be encouraged to grow plantation crops such as citrus fruits. 3. CAD programs such as lining of water courses, land development and leveling, and Varabandi system, equal distribution of canal water in the command area of outlet, shall be effectively implemented to reduce the conveyance loss of water. The areas affected by waterlogging and soil salinity shall be reclaimed. The eco development through afforestation, shelter belt plantation, and pasture development is necessary, particularly in the fragile environment of stage 2. The social sustainability in the region can be achieved only if the land allottees having poor economic background are provided adequate financial and institutional support for cultivation of land. The economic sustainability in the region cannot be attained only through development of agriculture and animal husbandry. The agricultural and allied activities have to develop along with other sectors of economy. This shall lead to diversification of economic base and establishment of functional linkages between basic villages, agro service centers, and market centers. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This was end of chapter number 9, which dealt in which dealt about development and sustainable development and planning. Thank you everyone for tuning in. All the best for exams. Do share and subscribe to the channel and keep supporting us. Thank you everyone.